and welcome back to another episode of Game Overcast. My name is David Kaelin. I am the Game Over CEO, and I'm glad that you joined us today. I'm glad to be back 2 weeks in a row. Hey, we can do it.
We did it.
We did it. I know we've been having a hard time getting consistent shows out lately, but I think we're on track, kind of. We'll see. So, happy Friday, everyone, and thank you all for the kind wishes and buying stuff at our stores for the anniversary sale last week. It was our 17th anniversary. So, yeah, I guess we've been through 17 years, so now we're in the beginning of being 18, of our 18th year. So this is when we really start to get rebellious, and we just do whatever the hell we want. And we don't care what our parents say. We're going to do it. So anyway, welcome to the show. This is episode 33. All right. So we are double digits all the way here. It's fall. It's a little cooler, at least here in Texas. So anything that's not 100 for us is considered cool. And that's nice. Let's see. I have a ton of Classic Game Fest news today. So a lot of the show is going to be Classic Game Fest focused, which will be great. We got your pricing. We got your survey feedback. We got T-shirt updates, all kinds of good stuff. Plus 3 mini boss battles today. So I got a whole lot to complain about, and you are going to be witness, whether you like it or not, or you can, when that starts, just fast forward through that segment if you don't want to hear me rant. Okay, so let's get into the show. So thanks for joining us. Let's do level 1 and current events, see what's going on in the world of gaming. And we're back with level 1 current events. So what's going on right now in the world of gaming? So I have a little bit of notes here about what I've seen online, what's new in the world. Let's see.
What's new in the world?
What is new in the world? Dan, do you have a news story? Oh, think about it. I'll come back to you in a minute.
Yes.
Okay. So what I found online. So I'm sorry. What's happening in the world? You're finding out everything from me. There is no online. It's only my access point. So your gaming news is this. So G4, you remember the gaming network? Went away a long time ago. They brought it back. It's gone away again.
It came back?
I know. Dan said it came back. Yeah, it was back for like a whole couple of months, I think, and now it's gone again. Yeah. So welcome back, and sorry to see you go. But yeah, G4, great idea, but basically all the kind of stuff on that show is now, half of YouTube, and it's just, I don't know how you compete with that, So,
yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So hello and goodbye, G4. What's funny though, I was reading online that when they did it, everybody's kind of surprised when it came back. Like Dan's surprised now to hear that it came back.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he didn't even know. But so other people, I guess, didn't know either, and maybe they just didn't have a chance to find out it was still going. But even some of the employees had posted online, like on Twitter, when they announced G4 was shutting down again recently, that some of the employees said that basically the way they found out was they just were locked out of Slack, the online messaging system for the company.
Okay. Yeah.
Like they couldn't log in anymore. Right, like so they couldn't log into Slack. They couldn't log into their Google Drives and stuff. I guess a lot of them work from home, and they just log in, and they were like, "Oh, that's weird. I can't log in today. I hope I have a job." Well, bad news. They don't have jobs.
Oh my God! They just found out that day.
Yeah. They said the employees were posting on Twitter that they only found out because they saw other online Twitter posts about people having trouble logging in, and then saying like, "Oh, I think the company's like done, like they shut down again," and they're like, yeah, you can't come back, it's done. Yeah. Dan is showing me his shocked face.
What a bizarre way to get fired.
This is not the first time a business has done that either. Like that's
Oh no, I know, but
you don't ever want to tell people the bad news, right? Like you just you go about your business and you get an interview and you're like, so G4's coming back, huh? Yeah, how's that going to work out? And you're like, oh, it's great. It's going to be fantastic. We got tons of sponsors lined up. It's going to be, it's going to last a long time this time. We really, we're in it for the long haul. And then in the back of your mind, you're thinking, if this doesn't, shape up by next week, well, I'm out of here.
Yeah,
so yeah, so they come and go kind of quickly these days.
Yeah, it does.
So in other news, there was a cool article that came out from Game Rant, which is another website that you of course can't access on your own, but luckily since you watch this show, you can get their information through me.
The joke never gets old.
I know, it never gets old, does it? You get all your news from me, and I feel such a pride and a privilege and the burden of doing all your research for you and giving you your weekly news on video games. But this was a really interesting article from Game Rant. It was showing some of the main console launch pricing for Nintendo and for Sega like the retro stuff, and then adjusting those prices for inflation, just to see like in today's dollars. And we all know everything's freaking expensive today compared to what it was, back in the day or whatever. But just to give you a feel for, in today's money, like 2022 right now, if these products had come out, this would be the equivalent of how much you would have had to spend to get them. Okay, so let's do Sega first. Okay, you ready, Dan?
All right.
Okay, let's go. All right, so Sega. So Sega Master System, when it came out, it was about $200. I didn't write down the years. Sorry.
I'm gonna look it up.
It's like 83, something like that. But so it came out. It was $200. The price
85, close.
85.
Wait, 86 in North America.
Well, okay, yeah. So I'm thinking, when it first came out overseas. These are all, I believe, American release prices. But let's just go through the pricing. So
Right.
so Master System $200. Adjusted for today's dollars, that would be like buying something today that's $551. So that's an expensive Master System. So then we got Sega Genesis, also launched for $199. A lot of these launched for $199. That was like a magical price point for consoles for a long time.
That was in 1990.
So yeah, Genesis, so $199, so basically $200 also. That in today's money, $799. Which I don't get how that's even more. Oh no, I'm sorry, $499.
Okay.
Sorry, I jumped ahead. I told Dan I'm gonna have trouble reading this because it's all in black, and normally I highlight, but I was unprepared this morning. But so yes, so $199, $499. So basically, it's like $500 today. So that's like your PS5 or whatever.
Yeah, I know. We complain about that price. Like, if anything's $500 gaming console wise, that's like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, well, back then, like that was that price, $200. Like anything over $200, it would be like nobody'd even buy it.
Yeah.
So they would do like $199.99, and that'd be like the highest they could launch a new console where people would actually still consider buying it.
So today, like 300 to 400 is like the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
If I buy a console in 2022, 300 to 400 is about what I can expect to pay and not complain about.
Yeah, looking over this whole list, it looks like the actual in today's dollars price of a console. The big range is between $300 to $400.
Yeah.
That's kind of the main range of in today's dollars what it would be, and that amount of money though back then was about $200.
Yeah, so that's not too bad.
So not too bad, but I mean,
500 is like.
But that's a lot.
Yeah.
So going on some more Sega consoles. So they had the Saturn, which that seemed really expensive at the time. That was
Yes.
$399.
I know.
And so that in today's dollars, so $400 back then in the 90s or whatever, that would be like $799 today. So that'd be like $800. So that'd be like your what, Xbox Series X? No, even more than that.
No, like
PS5
PS3,
and like
PS3,
3 controllers.
I
I don't know.
Didn't the PS3, like the Pro Edition when they first launched, was like $600 maybe?
Yeah.
But nothing is that expensive.
I don't know. I remember the most expensive console to launch, I believe this is correct, was the 3DO that when it launched in the 90s was $799.
Yeah.
So that in today's dollars would be like $1,500, which would be
crazy.
freaking nuts.
Little bananas.
Yeah. That'd be insane. But yeah, so Saturn's basically like in today's dollars would have been $800 at launch.
No way.
So that's like a whoa, like I know you kids want the Saturn thing, but like, we gotta put gas in the car, and that costs $800 right now. So, and then they had the Dreamcast, their last console, also launched at $199, which in today's dollars would be $362. So not so bad. The Dreamcast was a bargain, really, and it had 4 controller ports, had internet, modem built in. I know it was dial-up and stuff, but like, it had a lot of bells and whistles, and it was small size. Dreamcast had a lot going for
I like
it.
the Dreamcast. That's the price of a Switch Pro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Switch, whatever. OLED, whatever they call it.
OLED. Yeah. Do you say OLED or OLED?
OLED's faster. Everybody knows what I'm saying, so I just go with OLED.
But if it's regular LED, you don't say LED.
You're right.
You just say LED.
It's true.
So why, if you put an O on it, then suddenly it's LED?
Because it's faster.
I don't know.
Too many letters.
I think OLED.
That's fine. I also know what you're saying.
All right. Well, let's go to Nintendo. So we're going to look at the Nintendo consoles now. Okay. So Nintendo, NES, and I think this is wrong. This says the NES launched at $89, which I think is wrong. I think that was also $199. So I put a question mark there. But if it was $100, or close to $100,
no, the NES launched in 1985 was $149.99.
$149 with the robot, or
no? That's Mario Duck Hunt.
okay, yeah, with the robot wasn't it? with Rob like $199? Good thing I have a crack research team here.
180.
Yeah, I think it was like $199 or something.
Yep.
So, but anyway, so in today's dollars, an NES would be like $243. So not too bad
I'd buy
on that.
I'd buy a brand new NES today for $243.
Yeah. And then it looks like the next several consoles, all $199, that magic price point in the 90s. So Super NES, $199, which would have been $433 today.
Yeah.
Nintendo 64, $199, and that would have been $378. And that was going up against, the Saturn, which was super expensive, and the 3DO and other stuff in the 90s. Only the PlayStation was close to the Nintendo 64 price. And so that's why I think that one kind of, rose to the top on the disc side. And then
Saturn, man. Like, they just did everything wrong.
Yeah.
Price, the infrastructure, the controller, the games.
Yeah.
And, like, I love the Saturn, but, like, at the time, just no.
Yeah. No, Saturn was an experience. I remember in the 90s, I was living by myself. I had a roommate, and I had a PS1, and he had a Saturn. And so that way we could kind of both try both games, like we'd come into my room, play PlayStation, go into his room, play Saturn. And so I got to sample, both. And a lot of the games were multi-console, so you could play them on both. But yeah, I never got the appeal of like, why is everything... It's like what we were talking about earlier, like PC stuff and Mac stuff.
Yeah.
It was like PS1 and Saturn. And I would, they're both kind of the same. They both kind of had a lot of the same games. And I was like, why is your machine so much more than mine? Like, I don't get it. Like, I'm not a techie person, but like, why'd you get that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so let's see. Then we go to GameCube, also launched $199. That in today's dollars was $333, so it wasn't quite as long ago, but still about $300. So it's still a chunk of change. And then we go into Wii, $249, which would be $368 today. Wii U, $299, which would be $386 today.
Not bad.
And then the Switch, $299 on a Switch. That one is even adjusted now. That would have been $362. So Switch came out, 4 years ago?
Yeah.
So that price has already gone up $70.
And that's what you pay for a Switch Pro or a Switch OLED. So
Yeah.
OLED.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I thought that was fun. I love, I like numbers. I like statistics. I like, history and stuff like that. So I'm a nerd.
That's good stuff. No,
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I love looking back and seeing like, what would it have been like to buy an NES in the 80s,
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, I mean, people don't realize, like, the price of the consoles were always around $200, which in today's dollars is about, like I said, $300 or $400. So it's a lot of money. We'd ask our parents for these things, and like, that's bigger than like a birthday gift. That's like a really big birthday gift. That's like a really nice Christmas, and that's every Christmas thing in one box. That's like not all the other little, crappy stuff. It's just my parents would, when I would want something like that, they'd be like, "That's all you get. You don't get a card.
That's what my parents did.
You don't get anything in your stocking.
Yep.
You don't get nothing. You get this one box, and if you want to open just one freaking box, that's fine. But that's all you get."
When I got my N64, it was like, okay, but there's no other present.
Yeah, like that's Christmas. That's Christmas.
There's Mario 64. Have fun for the rest of the year.
Yeah, like it was a big investment, and parents, as adults, like they didn't make as much money as we make today. I mean, we constantly talk about we don't make enough money as adults these days, but like back then, obviously even less for them. And so for them to spend $300 on what they thought was like some toy for their kid, it was nuts. So anyway, really interesting, and I love the history and stuff like that. So I hope you enjoyed learning something today. Yeah, good stuff. In other news, E3 is back. I think we mentioned this on the show a while back. So E3 is coming back. It's going to be run by Reed Pop, who runs a lot of the other big conventions, and it is what it is, I guess. You don't know who that is?
Nope.
Dan doesn't know who that is. They run like
Classic Game Fest?
No.
They suck.
That's right. Yeah, no, they're not running Classic Game Fest. They run PAX, and they run I think like New York Comic Con. They run a couple of the really, really big conventions in the country. But it's one of those big corporate companies, and so they, I don't know. Personally, I don't really like them. I guess I shouldn't say that, but They've not been real cool to the little guys like Game Over when it comes to being at their events, and so I'm not a fan. But so they're running E3, but it is coming back next year, which will be nice. It's going to be in person in LA, just kind of like it used to be. I went there a couple of times in person over the past 17 years of doing Game Over, and I think the last time I went was probably, man, I don't know, like 5-10 years ago. It's probably closer to 10. It's been a long time. So I'd like to go back. So maybe I'll go back again. They have it a full week the next year. It's going to be 3 days for business, where it's like business to business and developers and stuff like that, and then 2 days where it's open to the public, and you can go in and like just like a convention. People can go in and just pay to go in and walk around and try stuff out. So that's pretty cool. So I don't know. Hopefully I will be able to check it out. And let's see. In more retro gaming news, War Games. We were talking about this, Dan and I, before the show. Yeah, but like we were talking about the war with Russia and Ukraine going on right now, and like it has like these nuclear fears and implications of like, well, what if we keep escalating? Eventually, it's going to be nuclear war, and then it's World War III, and then we're all dead. That kind of fun story. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I saw War Games, recently again on TV. I've seen it, of course, like a million times. It really is just like what's happening right now. It's the Cold War all over again, even though it's 40 years later. It's,
I feel like that generation, like you guys were like hiding under your desks at schools.
We did
drills and filling your bathtub.
We had disaster drills. We had to get under our desk and prepare for Armageddon.
Any of that? We're just like, eh.
Well, nowadays they do bomb threats. I know my kids do that, where it's like they or like what do they call it now? They don't call it bomb. They call it like I forget what they call it, but like danger events training, where it could be a shooter in the school. Sadly that's happened too many times, and or a bomb threat, or just some kind of crazy crap that happens. And so they just practice basically getting the kids to be calm, line up, walk out of the class together and go someplace away from the school to be safe or whatever.
Yeah, but that's different than like hide under your desk.
But yeah,
fill your bathtub with water. Like, no.
But it's just weird watching that. You should all go watch the movie War Games again. The original like 80s version, Matthew Broderick. It's a great movie. But it's so relevant today, and especially if you get, really like nerdy about the news like I do and current events, like it's just, I feel like it's just deja vu all over again. There's this nuclear Armageddon that is kind of like simmering in the background, and it's on the news, but it's always just short little segments on the news. And to me, that's like the biggest problem, the biggest risk we face in the world is that right now. But we're talking about this other stuff, which is like, politics and climate change and, gender and whatever. And it's like, those are all great issues. And, but like, none of those are going to kill us or not kill us specifically. Like climate change might kill somebody in 100 years when the planet's uninhabitable. And I don't want that. I believe in climate change and everything, but like this nuclear stuff, like it could kill us all tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Climate change isn't going to kill us tomorrow. So I don't know, but just, I recommend watching that movie. And I'm going to give a little shout out to Pluto TV, for all you hip, cool, on trend techies like me who have the latest, greatest apps on their TVs and phones. Pluto TV is really cool. I haven't really gotten into it until lately, but it's one of those free apps, and so you can just access it, for free. And it lists a bunch of like movies and shows, and a lot of them are old, like classics and stuff. But they have classic movies on there, and a lot of them like from the 80s. Like I've seen like Teen Wolf on there, War Games. They have just cool old stuff, and not all the time. Of course, a lot of it's crap and filler, just like any of the streaming services. But like, you can find good, decent 80s stuff on there, and War Games has been on there, and I've seen it. Now, I watched it on there just last weekend, and I've seen parts of it a couple other times where I just caught it like near the end or something. But it's a really cool channel, so I recommend that app for anybody who likes, me or is my age more or less, or likes like Game Over or anything like from that generation of the 80s and 90s. Like check out Pluto TV, because they have a lot of cool like TV shows and movies that you will like.
I will say of all the like 80s and 90s video game adjacent or related movies that came out,
Yeah.
War Games by far is the most watchable in 2022.
Yeah.
It's very good.
It really holds up. I mean,
And the
you have to
story is
get past the point that the computers are like take up the whole room and they have the little
That's, like,
spinning
cool,
drives and
man.
everything.
That's
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
And the acting's very good, and the like premise is really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd watched that before like The Wizard. You
Oh yeah.
That movie's not.
Yeah, it's one of the few 80s movies that 40 years later it does hold up. It's I think, like I said, more relevant than ever with current events going on. And it shows that literally when you have two, uber powerful militaries that can basically annihilate, an entire country off the face of the earth, like, it makes no sense to have the war, because once you start firing over here and they start firing over there, and then it's just, everybody's gone. And so there's no winner, right? It does the whole thing with tic-tac-toe, and it's like, winner, none, winner, none, winner, none. And it's like the only winning move is not to play. Yeah, don't play. Stop having war. Stop invading your countries, your neighbor countries, because shit escalates. I mean, sorry, stuff escalates out of control, and sometimes you may not mean it. I mean, Putin may not care if it escalates, but like, it can escalate. That's what makes him dangerous. That's what made Trump dangerous. That's what makes a lot of that dangerous. But anyway, so
You said you were going to talk about.
I'm not going into politics. I'm sorry. Let's talk about games.
You promised.
I know. I promised. I'm sorry. So watch the movie War Games and then think about life is what I'm saying. It will hold up though. It's got teen drama, so it's fun for the kids. Computer techie stuff.
Lots of 80s references.
Lots of 80s references. Lots of cool quotable lines.
Great. Yep.
So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. I love that movie. So last week on the show, also in the news, we talked about favorite scary Halloween games, and I was asking you, the viewers, what your favorite retro Halloween games were.
Did they deliver?
No, they did not deliver. So thanks, small amount of fans that watch the show.
Sorry.
But no, I did get one. So Leptonic, shout out. You rock.
Oh yes, Platonic.
So got feedback. Friday the 13th on NES. He said when the mom's floating head was a worse scare than Jason the first time they played it. So that's very cool. And yeah, Friday the 13th was a good one on NES as far as like a retro, Halloween game. But nobody else mentioned anything about it. So I don't know. But yeah, I said on the last show, my favorites. I like the Ghostbusters Genesis game. I thought that was, cool, and it had kind of like just kind of cool, creepy music, and I liked it. And then Zombies Ate My Neighbors, I like that one a lot. What else? I guess that's maybe it for me. And did you said Castlevania or something, Dan? Right?
Castlevania is an excellent spooky dooky
Yeah.
Halloween game.
What's some other good Halloween retro games?
So
we'll come up with a list for you.
I don't remember
on the spot.
I don't remember what we talked about last week, but Geist on the GameCube. It's a first-person shooter.
Oh, okay,
where
yeah.
You're a ghost and you inhabit the bodies of other people. That's really good. Another shooter on that generation is Second Sight, which is developed by Free Radical, who made GoldenEye, where it's not like spooky dooky, but you're like a telepathic, and so there's a lot of like really cool stuff that game does with that, and obviously Eternal Darkness on the GameCube, legendary.
Yeah. What about more retro, like cartridge stuff?
More retro?
Cartridge stuff.
Okay, Decap Attack. You're kind of like a.
That was a good one.
You're a
Yeah,
zombie,
Decap Attack.
and you like throw your.
You
head.
throw your skull.
Yeah.
Like,
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Man.
I should have done more research on this,
Yeah.
I guess.
I
I was
mean-
expecting you guys to bail me out
Yeah,
and give me
come
some
on,
like
guys.
cool choices. So
Gargoyle. Demon. What's the one?
Demon's Quest.
Demon's Quest.
Yes.
That one's on NSO.
Oh, and Ghouls and Ghosts. Yeah, because
yeah.
in that same in
But
the same family.
Demon's
yeah.
Quest is really, really good. Like side scroller, you can fly, action. It has like a top down overworld. Really, really great. And it's kind of famous now, but
Yeah.
it's a very expensive cartridge, so I recommend Nintendo Switch Online to play that one, or go to your local Game Over and see if they have it.
All right. Well, cool. Well, I'll give you guys one more chance. So we're gonna do a show next week, and that will be our official Halloween show.
Boogie Doogie.
So-
are you gonna be in costume?
I will not be in costume because I don't really do
You're gonna be a
costumes.
game store CEO for Halloween.
Yes, I will put my box on my head, and I will be in costume as David. You know, David, the CEO of Game Over, is the #1 most requested Halloween costume at Spirit this year. I don't know why.
You can get
I don't
the
know why.
costume at Game Over. You buy the shirt, you shave your head, done.
That's true. It's easy. Aside from the shaving your head part, it's mostly stuff that you won't regret. So that part you might regret. Then you go into work the next day and they're like, "Why'd you shave your head?" "Oh, I wanted to look like David from Game Over."
But the key is, here's the
Why?
The secret to that costume is you have to be complaining about technology the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, the other thing, you have to not just look like me, but you have to rarely eat or sleep. That's number one. Number two is you have to be very, very antiquated technology. So like you have to be driving an old car, using an old computer.
Carry a BlackBerry around.
Look at your phone like from a distance, like is this what I'm seeing? What does this text say? What, am I tipping $2 or $200 here? Yeah.
Good stuff.
So that's how you do David the CEO. Good right. Stuff. Yeah. All right. So that's it. So that's your assignment, America. Like they'd say on what's that? Funniest Home Videos. Do you remember that? America's Funniest Home Videos? Yep. It's still on. Yep. It's got Alfonso
good
on it now, right?
I like it.
But they still say that. They do some little thing. It's like, okay, walking into doors, that's the theme. That's your assignment, America. So all you go home, walk into a door and record it and send it in and embarrass the hell out of your family.
Yep. Love it.
Yeah. So that's your assignment, America. Favorite retro Halloween video games. Let's go. I want options. I want a list. Comments. You can email me, podcast@gameovervideogames.com. You can comment on Facebook. You can comment on podcast streams. You can comment on YouTube. You can just shout from your home. Just shout really loud. Be like, "Ghouls and ghosts!" And maybe I'll hear you.
We'll hear you. Maybe.
Shout really loud. Yeah, it has to be really loud. Like open the window, then shout. Then I'll hear you.
Shout.
All right, so let's move on. So that's the end of news. So nothing else happened this past week, so you don't need to know about anything else. Let's move on to level 2 company events and see what's going on at your local Game Over video game store. And we're back with level 2 company events and what's going on at your local Game Over video game store. Well, we have sales going on. We do sales just about every week. So right now, from Friday, October 21st through Thursday, October 27th, we're doing a wallet and lanyard clearance. So all remaining wallets and lanyards in our stores, and the selection varies by location. They're all 20% off. Also, you can shop them online at gameovervideogames.com with the coupon code GAMERGEAR20. So GAMERGEAR20. So that's your code. You can save some money there. The next sale after that, so if you're watching the show, you're a little late to the game. You see that I post the video, but then you're like, I'll watch that when I get around to it. And you watch it and you're like, crap, now the sale's already over. I wish I knew what was going to happen the next week.
Man. How can they find out, David?
Well,
save me from this hell.
Dan wants to know how to find out. I will tell you how, because I can see into the future. I can see the future. And after that sale, the next one is going to be a Retron 5 sale. So you know the Retron 5? It's one of these big, like, all-in-one machines from Hyperkin. Cool. It plays everything. It plays Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Genesis, the import version, the Famicom, Super Famicom, Mega Drive. It also plays Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. It has a little adapter you can buy and plug in the top. And if you buy the little adapter, which is extra, then it plays Game Gear and Master System. So basically, it's like a Swiss Army knife of game consoles. It's really cool.
Like their controllers.
And if you don't like their controllers, as many people do, sorry, or don't, then you can actually plug in your regular controllers. It has ports for Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and Genesis, so all the main controllers, and you can use them on any games.
I bet this thing costs $1,000.
Dan thinks it costs $1,000, but Dan, you are, as always, wrong. So the cost on them, I think it's $199. Actually, I don't even know, but I think it's $199. But the sale is it's going to be $30 off. So we're doing whether it's a new or used one. Sometimes we get used ones traded in too. But $30 off all of our Retron 5 consoles, or you can shop online at GameOverVideoGames.com, and the code is Retron5. And if you type that in, you get $30 off your Retron 5. So that takes it down to, what, $170, something like that. I don't know, but it's a good deal. The fact that it plays all that stuff makes it a really, really good deal, and it adds save states too. So any cartridge you put in there, it automatically like kind of scans the ROM when you put it in, and then it saves your place exactly. So even if it didn't have a save function in the first place, or the battery is dead or whatever, it'll save your progress.
But
so
David,
it's a cool console.
My 65
Yes, Dan.
HD TV only has HDMI. How do I play these retro consoles?
How do you plug it into Dan's new big fancy TV? Glad that you asked, Dan, because it actually has HDMI output.
No way. Get the out of here.
Shut the front door. That's right. You can play it on any big screen, current, new generation TV. You just plug it into HDMI just like you would your Switch or your PS7 or your Xtendo 4 or whatever it is. You can plug it in HDMI and it'll work. And you can play all your classic consoles in new HD glory. So, very cool. So that's the next sale, I think. I'm seeing into the future right now. That's the 28th through November 3rd. So, over Halloween week.
I hope I didn't oversell it.
Yeah. I don't think I think we undersold it, actually. I think it requires more hype.
If you don't buy one, you're just
lame.
Yeah.
You're just lame. You're a lame 1-5. Okay, also, because that's not even enough, I've got one more sale for you this month to talk about, which is a special sale that we do pretty much every year at Game Over, which is on Halloween. So that is going to be this year on a Monday. So it's Monday, October 31st. For that one day on Halloween, if you come into our stores in a video game Halloween costume, you will get 20% off. So that's in stores only, and it has to be a video game related costume. And you can't just say you're wearing like normal clothes and you're just like a background character, in a game or something. But you have to have some kind of like recognizable video game costume, and you get 20% off anything. And that's new or used games, consoles, anything. Even the most expensive console, the rarest, most expensive game, 20% off. And that ain't nothing. That's, well, literally, it's something. So
not like 15 under, like literally anything?
Literally anything. So if you buy like $1,000 rare sealed blah, blah, blah game or whatever, 20% off, which could be a lot. So that's our Halloween special. Also, we're still doing trade-in bounties. So if you are looking to unload some extra consoles, we need Nintendo 64s. We are paying $100 for black ones, $150 for colored ones, and GameCubes we are paying $100 for any color. So that's a cash value. That's bringing it in. It does have to, though. These are the fine print. So here we go. It's got to be in good working order. It's got to look good, like no big dog chews or, falling off, lid or stuff like that. It's got to have all the wires, the hookups for it. And it has to have a controller that's actually made by Nintendo. So, no offense to third-party companies, but it can't be one of those janky third-party controllers. It's got to say Nintendo on the controller. So if you got all that, it looks good and it works good. Cash money, $100 or $150 for the colored 64s. So definitely bring those in. We want them. We need them. Please help us out. We're stocking up for Christmas on those. Let's see. Also, we do store events. We do super retro challenges once a month at some of our stores where you can play a retro game and a tournament, a very low stakes casual tournament environment. Totally free to play. You just have to show up. It's the second Saturday of every month. So the next one is going to be Saturday, November 12th. So that's in just a couple of weeks. So you can come check that out. And then there's going to be one in December on December 10th. So put those on your calendar now. The stores that host them are going to be Bellevue, Washington, Arlington, Texas, South Austin, Texas, Selma, Texas by San Antonio, and Houston, Texas, the store on 1960. So check out those stores near you, and you can check out a free tournament. You might even win a prize, and it costs nothing. Nothing except your pride, I guess, because if you lose, you're going to be sad. But that's all. It doesn't cost you any money. All right. Let's see. So now we go into CGF updates. Ooh, I got a lot of CGF updates for you.
Do it.
All right. So as we know, CGF, biggest retro gaming event in Texas, one of the biggest in the country. It's amazing. You want to go. The next dates, it's going to be next summer, July 22nd through 23rd of 2023, which sounds like a million years from now, but it's actually 8 months away? It's not that far away. So it's coming up. So mark your calendars now. Vendor booths, if you want to sell your stuff, whether you're just like a collector selling duplicates or whatever, you're maybe, buying a new house or something and you want to just unload your collection, you can do that. You have a small business, like a little side hustle selling video games, you can buy a booth. If you have a big hustle, a video game store, if you have a chain of stores like Game Over or Game Exchange or somebody, like you can get a booth. You can buy as much or as little space as you want and sell your stuff. We want to have you there. It is the biggest retro gaming marketplace in Texas and one of the biggest in the country where you can actually go shop for games. And so we need you to help us add to that selection. So booths are on sale now at classicgamefest.com. Also, wristbands for attendance are going on sale soon. They actually go on sale next Tuesday. So that is just a few days away. So Tuesday, October 25th. So the wristbands will officially go on sale at classicgamefest.com. Plus, we have a new pricing structure on CGF now for the tickets. So we used to have two prices. We had an online price and an at-the-door price. And they were both way under any other similar event in the country. And we haven't updated or raised the prices in like 5 years or something. And so the bad news is we have to raise the prices. Everything else is going up. What can I say? It's more expensive now. But to help you guys out, instead of just having the online price and the at-the-door price, I'm going to tier it up just like we do with the vendor booths. So if you buy it up front early, the tickets for CGF, it's going to be the cheapest. And then every couple of months, they go up a little bit. So that then when you buy them at the door, of course, the door prices are way more expensive. And, nobody wants to buy stuff at the door price. That's just bad planning. So if you do that, I don't really feel sorry for you. You didn't plan right. So I've got all the prices here, so I'm just going to give you the range. And we'll put this up on the website in the next few days, and then obviously Tuesday it'll all be up there, and you can click the link and look at them there. So kids 10 and under, free, still free. So no worries there. You do have to get wristbands for them though. So definitely click on there when you're ordering tickets. Put a couple of kid ones on there if you have some kids with you, because they do need to have a band so we can count attendance. But we don't charge them to come in. A lot of other events are now charging kids. So we've thought about that, but I'm trying to hold off on that.
You guys, but my kids don't have any money. So.
Yeah, your kids don't have any money. Well, they should have jobs. No, move on. Okay. So kids 10 and under free. For Saturday only, it's going to be between $20 at the cheapest up to $40 at the door. So $20 to $40 for Saturday. And again, don't buy it at the door. You don't want to pay $40. You think that's a lot? Don't buy it at the door. Buy it early. So $20 to $40. For Sunday, $10 to $30. So it starts off at $10. The highest they'll get is $30 at the door. And again, if you don't like paying the high prices, don't buy at the door. It's easier for us if you buy in advance online than us having to count cash and stuff at the door. So you're helping us out by buying early and saving money. VIP. The VIP wristbands get both Saturday and Sunday. Plus on Saturday, you get in at 9 instead of 10. So you get first pick on everything. You can run to your favorite booth and get their good stuff before it's gone. And it's always cheaper than buying Saturday and Sunday separately, so you do save some money there too. So you get in early on Saturday, plus you save money. So the weekend passes are going to start at $25, which is totally a bargain, cheapest thing in the country for a retro gaming show, weekend pass. And then at the door, they're going to be $60. So, I'll just say it, that's a lot of money, but it's cheaper than some other retro shows for their weekend pass, believe it or not. So still not that bad, but yeah, if you buy at the door, it's going to be more expensive. So buy earlier if possible, once you know you can commit to going, because there are no refunds on the tickets. So I will say that too. So once you buy it, you're locked in, but the earlier you buy, the cheaper you get. And then we're going to do VIPs with a t-shirt, and I will make sure that we have all the t-shirts in stock this time, so no worries on the t-shirts. I promise. I'm giving you my solemn vow that we will have enough t-shirts. And so they're going to start at $40 for the VIP weekend and a t-shirt, and going up to $75 at the door for a VIP weekend and a t-shirt. And then actually the t-shirts at the door, if we run out of t-shirts, we'll make sure the people that ordered them get them, and so we may have to cut off those sales at the door, but we'll see how that goes. But I will make sure one way or another that if you buy the pass with the t-shirt, you will get the t-shirt, and you will get the t-shirt of your size and your choice. So that's the range on prices. So it's all out there. It's going to be over the next few days put up on our website, and the tickets and everything will all be live on Tuesday. So you can look at it there if you have any questions or whatever. But But like I said, my best recommendation for CGF from now on is buy early. You get cheaper vendor booths, you get cheaper tickets. If you buy stuff last minute or at the door, yeah, it's going to be expensive, and sorry, plan better next time. Okay. Another CGF update, the t-shirts. I'm wearing my OG yellow t-shirt, which is like my one I've worn there for like 5 years. So if you see the guy in the yellow t-shirt, it's probably me at CGF. But the cool t-shirts, the ones with the cool 15th anniversary that we ran out of last year and we've restocked a couple of times and still kept running out. All orders now for those, even the last minute orders, have now all been filled. They've all been shipped, and they should all be received by you. So if you wanted one, needed one, ordered one online, have emailed me about switching sizes or anything about the cool special edition Classic Game Fest shirts, it should be at your house now. If it's not, email me at info@classicgamefest.com and let me know what your story is, what happened, and I can try and figure that out. Or we do have a few left. If you still want to try and put an order in for one, you can go to classicgamefest.com/t-shirt, and the order form is still up. And you can order them, but this is our last remaining stock, so there's just a few left on each size. But if you want to, go to that site, put in a request. If I have it, I'll email you back an invoice to pay, and then you can pay and get it. But we're not ordering those anymore. We'll have brand new shirts for next year, for 2023. And so, this is kind of your last chance on the other ones. But if you wanted it and ordered it already, you should already have it at home, and we're good. And I'm sorry, again, that we were short on t-shirts. So that's it for CGF updates. More to come. Also, the feature section coming up next is actually our Classic Game Fest survey results. So that's going to be really interesting, and then you'll get to find out what everybody thought of this last event in 2022. So let's do that now. Let's go to the feature section and level 3. And we're back with a Classic Game Fest update on the CGF 2022 survey results. So this is, we did, the biggest retro gaming event in Texas. We do surveys right afterwards. Let us know what you think. We talk to the vendors, the guests, all the attendees, and fill out surveys. We got hundreds and hundreds of responses, and I've finally gone through. I've read them all. I've read through them all, and I'm going to give you the highlights right now. So we always value your feedback. We know we're not perfect. I'm not perfect. I mean, we've done Classic Game Fest for 15 years now. Every year I change it at least a little bit. And every year there's, at least a few things we could improve. I haven't got it perfect yet, but I try.
All you have to do is add the kissing booth.
Yeah, Dan still wants a kissing booth. There just wasn't room this year for that. Maybe next year. But I mean, I'm not perfect. Game Over's not perfect. Classic Game Fest is not perfect. It's just, we're all human. We make mistakes. But the one thing I will say about me and the businesses that I run, like Classic Game Fest, we're always open to feedback. We're always open to suggestions. So I just ask that if you don't like something, don't just be like, Classic Game Fest sucks. I'd rather you say, well, Classic Game Fest could do something such and such to be better, in your opinion, or whatever. And so, be constructive. Don't be destructive and just say this sucks. Be like, this is not great, but I would like to see it better, and maybe we could do this to make it better. So give me some positive feedback or things that we can build on. And I do listen to that feedback. I read these every year, and I really appreciate them, the good and the bad. I don't care if it's positive or negative. I just want your feedback. And obviously, I hope it's all positive. But if it's negative, it's not like I skip it and say, well, that person just sucks. It's like I read your feedback. And if you say something was bad and should change, I actually do read them. So here's the feedback. Overall, it's really good, so I'm really happy. But so here's the feedback from vendors, CGF vendors this past year in CGF 2022. 85% rated Classic Game Fest as very good to the vendors. 14% said just good, so like one notch below. So very good or good is 99% of all vendors. So that's amazing. So thank you for that. Let's see. Was it better than last year? For the vendors. This is all vendor feedback, by the way, this part. So was it better than last year? 66% of the vendors did better than last year. So that's over half of them did better. Communication. 79% said the communication was very good. 20% said just good. And then there were a few, below. But so just those two together, again, 99%. So everybody loves my emails. I always feel like I'm a little wordy on the emails, but, it gets the points across, right? So the load in process, like coming in, setting up your booth, 82% said very good, 16% said good, for a total of 98%. So everybody's real happy with the flow coming in. Load out as we're leaving after Classic Game Fest, 75% very good, 25% good. So that's a total of 95%. So the vendors, yeah, they love the show, in and out, setup, better than last year. Really good. Volunteers, we always have some great volunteers at CGF. 75% gave the volunteers a very good rating. 18% said they were good. So that's a total of 93% for the volunteers. So way to go, volunteers. Number of vendors. So like, how many vendors were there? That's the sign of a good retro show, right? Because you don't want to go to a retro gaming show and then see like 3 booths that actually have video games. That's not cool. So number of vendors, 60% said very good. 34% said good. So that's a total of 94%. So there was a good amount of vendors there. Variety of products for sale. 57% said very good. 32% said good. That's a total of 89%. So that's really good. Let's see. Overall attendee response, 82% said very good. 18% good. So that's a total of 100%. So basically there was like a statistically, not zero, but a statistically zero number of people that did not like CGF. Sales, let's see, 63% very good, 28% good, so that's a total 91%. So all the vendors did really well. Compared to other retro events, 66% said CGF is better than any other retro event they've been to. 14% said about the same. 0% said worse. So, that's still pretty good. That is, what is the total there? 80%. So 80% basically, really happy with CGF compared to other events. Okay. Vendor booth prices. And this is from the vendor perspective, I should say. Like all this is from the vendor perspective right now.
To pay for a booth.
Yeah, like what the booths cost.
Yeah.
So like vendors that buy booths at multiple events, like how does the CGF prices of the booths compare? 15% said they were cheap. 70% said just right. So those together mean 85% of the people thought it was at or below what they would expect to pay for such a booth. So that's great. That means they're really happy with the pricing, and we are keeping vendor booth prices the same this year. We raised those last year, but we're keeping them even this year. We did not raise attendee prices for several years, and so we are having to raise those this year. So we try not to raise everything all at once. We try and do it as little as possible. But these days you just can't survive if you don't raise prices. You just can't. But I'm glad that our booth pricing is great compared to other events. Let's see. What do you like most about CGF? And again, this is from the vendors. They like the staff. The staff is great. Me and my family got a lot of compliments there, so thank you. The attendees, they really like the attendees. Like they go to the CGF, wanting to sell their products and their gaming related, products, of course. And, a lot of times at a convention, you don't know what you're going to get. If you go to a Comic-Con, you don't know, are there going to be a lot of game-minded customers shopping for games there or not? Because it's kind of everything. But this is game focused, and the attendees all tend to have really good attitudes, and they're excited to be there. They're excited about retro gaming, and so we always get a lot of compliments about the staff, but also the attendees there. That it's just a good community event. They also like the other vendors, the vibe, the atmosphere, the communication, organization, the layout, the variety. So a lot of good comments, really, about what they like the most. What do they like the least? Okay, here's the negative. What do they like the least?
Should I guess?
Well, nothing actually got a lot of response, which is nice because like I don't dislike anything. But the other least liked things, let me just go down the list and I'll see if your thing is on the list, Dan. Okay. So having the bands upstairs, that's kind of a constant thing. No Pecos Pete's for the drinks. Remember the big cups?
Yeah, that's not even under your control.
And it's not under my control.
The venue.
Yeah, the venue controls food and drink vendors, so I can't have Pecos Pete's come back. I like Pecos Pete's. They like us.
You still have your cup in your office.
I still have cups from them. They're great, but they're not on the vendor list for this venue, and so they can't come, and it's nothing I can do about it. So that stinks, but I hear you. Let's see. Artist booth's expensive. That was a complaint because we actually don't have. The reason is we don't have artist booth prices and vendor booth prices because a lot of Comic-Cons do. Like they have cheaper booths for the artists, so they can, afford it easier. But then what they do with them is they put all those artist booths somewhere like way in the back or upstairs or in some other hall in the convention center or something. And so there's an artist area, and there's a reason those booths are cheaper, because they get less traffic, because they put them all in the corner. And at CGF, nobody puts baby in a corner. I purposely, when I lay out CGF, try and alternate with guests and vendors and artists and mix it all up so that the artists that do come to CGF, compared to other artist booths, might be a little more expensive, but your sales will be better because you will be in the mix with all the attendees. You won't be off in some corner, by yourself, where they're going to have limited foot traffic. That's the upside to that. But yes, compared to other artist booths, they are expensive and sorry. Let's see. But that's why. Concessions are limited. That was another complaint. And again, not something I can control. I tell them every year, more food, more food, more food. And, I can say it till I'm blue in the face, but really I can't control it as much as they can. We did get some food trucks last year, though, or this past show, outside. And I don't know if any of you checked out those food trucks. There were 2 of them outside, plus they had the vendor station inside. So next year we're going to try and get more food trucks outside, so that basically if I can convince them to bring more and more food trucks, then we have more variety without the center actually having to provide their own. Because the center mostly does burgers, hot dogs, chips, drinks, stuff like that. And they run out, despite what I tell them. So it is sad that I'm telling them it's not my, when you buy sodas and sandwiches and burgers and stuff at CGF, I get none of that. I literally get none of that, and I literally pay to have them provide the stuff. So it's no gain to me, and I tell them, you run out every year. You should bring more stuff. We should have more stuff here, and I fight for it every year. And so when they run out, I'm just like, you just cost yourself money. Because if you made, I don't know, $100,000 on food, and you could have made $200,000 if you had more food, whose fault is that? It's not mine. I keep telling you, bring more stuff. So I don't know. But anyway, so that's a complaint, and I am every year, like I said, I do fight to get more concessions, and I will continue that fight. Let's see. And the food is expensive. I can't help that either. That's concessions anywhere. You go to any kind of sporting event or convention, and the water's going to be like $4 or $5, and that's just life. I'm sorry. We're in an inflationary time, and at special events, that's just life.
Too,
yeah.
Movie theaters too. It's just
it's like a movie theater. You get a drink and a popcorn at a movie theater, you're out like $20. I mean, it's just the way it is. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be like, but it's just popcorn, but it's just a soda. Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. You're here. You can't eat anywhere else, so you're stuck paying those prices. Can't really fix that one. Parking lot's full at midday on Saturday. That's there are other parking options outside of the center, but that parking lot, at the peak time, which is normally like midday Saturday, it does fill up. So you just have to, carpool or park on the street, and there's some other parking options a little further away, or shuttle buses and stuff that you can take. But again, something I can't add more parking spots. Sorry. And let's see. No yo-yos. No yo-yos.
What happened to the yo-yos?
We had the past couple of years.
Yo-yos?
No. The past couple of years, we've had some freebie yo-yos from Hyperkin. Like one of our sponsors, they send us like yo-yos, and we put them out, like giveaways, and just they have a big H on them from Hyperkin, and it's it's cute. But there was a vendor complained about, I didn't get a free yo-yo. Sorry. I don't know. Apparently there was a vendor that was nearby Tim Kitzrow this year. Tim Kitzrow, the voice of NBA Jam. Mm-hmm. And I feel bad because Tim is like a really nice guy. But of course, the whole show, he was like turned on. Right, like he was
great.
He was doing MC stuff all weekend. I'm surprised he could even talk after the event, but it was all weekend like boom shakalaka, and he's on fire, all that kind of stuff. And apparently there was a vendor with a booth near him that was like, okay, this is what they said. That he says, I heard boom shakalaka in my sleep for days. So, I'm sorry, but that's Tim, man. He's on fire. What can I say? And then a couple of comments on thefts from their booth. That's not really so much a thing on CGF. That's really any convention. When you lay out a bunch of your stuff at a booth and normally it's just you or maybe you and a couple people watching it,
There's like
but there's
1,000 people.
thousands of people in and they surround your booth like vultures. When you look over here, somebody might be stealing something over here, and you don't know. And I'm sorry, but I can't have a security guard at each booth. I mean, that's really up to you to bring adequate staff to watch your stuff, or you bring those like plastic cases and your stuff goes in a case.
Yeah.
But if you just lay stuff on a table and it's just one person watching it, I can't help you there.
Yeah.
That's a you problem, not a CGF problem.
Yeah, that is like.
And it's just a life problem, really. It's not. It's just people are like that. Some people are just crappy and they'll just steal stuff, and I can't stop crappy people from coming in.
Game Over and the place across from you guys,
Holy Grail.
Holy Grail. They have those like angled.
Yeah, a lot of them
those
do.
Are awesome. 'Cause
Yeah.
You can see everything, see the prices, ask them to see something, but like.
Yeah, Dan's talking about the nice like display cases that have the little like plastic or glass kind of shield that's like at a slant on the front, and they put all their games inside of it, so you can look, but you can't grab anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of the bigger vendors have that. But this is, I'm sure, one of the smaller vendors,
Yeah.
and I know how it is because Game Over, has been to a lot of conventions over the years, and in the beginning it was just me at a convention booth, and then it was just Tian at a lot of convention booths, and yeah, just one guy watching like an entire table of stuff when there's thousands of people there. It's not hard for someone to ask you a question over here, and then you look over here and something is missing. It just happens. So that's a cost of doing business. So you either bring enough staff to watch the booth, you bring the right kind of cases and stuff to protect your merch, or you have, just like in any retail store like Game Over or anywhere, you have a certain percentage that's just lost to theft. And that's just it's like a business cost of doing business thing.
That sucks.
It sucks, but it's a cost of doing business thing. So those kind of the complaints, and nothing major, and not things that we haven't heard, before. I definitely work to fix all the things in there that I can, but a lot of those are kind of beyond CGF's control, unfortunately. Let's see, suggestions. Let's see. Reading over everything to see what can be done. Let's see. So layout, more food, upstairs. Those are kind of constant things. Nobody's ever fully satisfied with the bands or the upstairs level. Some people like the bands upstairs because they're too noisy. Some people like the bands on the main floor because then they can enjoy it more, but then the vendors don't like it. If we put something else upstairs, like the arcades or the tournaments or something else, then people wouldn't be able to find those. And any convention that has multiple halls or multiple levels, like whatever's on that other level, it's like I was talking about with the artist booths. Like if I put all the artists upstairs, but made their booths half price, that'd be nice. But like half the people would go up there to look at them, so they would make half as much money. So it's the same. You'd come out the same from the event than if you just pay the higher prices. But no, I'm going to be in the main hall where all the foot traffic is. Yeah. But nobody's ever fully happy with what we choose to put upstairs, and the fact that we have the bands and the panels upstairs and basically everything else on the main floor, it is the best overall option, because we tried different versions, but that's the best overall fit. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. I'd like it to be a bigger, grander stage for our artists and our panels and stuff, and accommodate more people. When we're doing big panels, or we're doing like the costume contest, I mean, that room is freaking packed up there. So I'd love to have it on the main floor, but then the music from the bands gets to be too loud at points, and then the vendors complain. And it's hard to make everybody happy. So the current mix is probably the way we're going to keep doing it, because that is the best available option. It's just not a perfect option, but it's the best available. Let's see. So do you plan to return to CGF in 2023? What do you think our vendors said?
Definitely not.
Dan says not. Yes, they said yes,
course.
Absolutely, 100%. There's not a single vendor from this year's show that said they do not want to come back next year. So that's amazing. So everybody, we hope to see you back, and a lot of them have already signed up. So we have like over 50 booths now already committed for next year's 2023 event. So yeah, so if you're thinking of selling at CGF, you're already halfway back in the hall, because the front half of the hall is already full. It's crazy how fast that thing fills up. Let's see. Talking to other artists and vendors, CGF is the only show that really cares and takes care of its vendors.
Aww.
That was one of the comments, which I really like. And we go out of our way. Even I, as running the show, and a lot of times people barely see a glimpse of me, or I'm just like running from side to side, or I'm taking somebody change, or getting a I don't know, like the prizes for the costume contest or whatever, I'm always running at CGF. It's really, really stressful, hard work for me. Like I'm busy nonstop for like 12 hours a day. But I still do try and make it a point to talk to every vendor. And, the other staff and volunteers, to talk to other vendors. And so, and we give like little vendor, gift bags and stuff. And, we do always try and make people feel welcome and feel, like they're a part of the show, because it really is our show, all of us. It's not just my show. It's all of our show. And so it was just really nice that somebody put that comment on there. Like they go to a lot of conventions, and again, I've gone to a lot of conventions as Game Over, and like with Reed Pop, for example, where I just feel like I'm a number, and I'm a number that's a very large at the end of the list number. I'm not a very important number. And it's just like they don't care if they mess up something on the booth. They don't have my electricity. They don't have us a good position. They don't, want us back next year or whatever. It's just like I'm just like, don't you care about like a vendor being unhappy,
Yeah.
And but I do. And it's not that, vendors are 100% happy, but when they're not when they are unhappy or when they're not happy, talk to me, email me. I will try and fix things. I will try and make things right, because I do care, and that does set CGF apart, because some people they take your money for the booth, and then you will never hear or see those people again. You check in at the event, and they just say, "There's your booth. Go set up," and you'll never see those people again. But we do try and check in on you often, and we want our vendors to have a good time. It's important. So now let's go into the attendee stuff. I think this is getting kind of long, and I'm sorry, this is going to take a little bit of time, but I'll go quickly. So attendee surveys, the age breakdown for CGF. So this is always interesting. So 24% are age 25 to 34, 41% age 35 to 44, and 20% age 45 to 54. So basically 85% of the people, of the 10,000 people that came to CGF, are in the age range of 25 to 54. So I'm near the upper end of that now, but yeah, that's kind of the range. 20s, 30s, and 40s. Those tend to be the big ones. 82% male. I don't know. It just is what it is. 18% female. We'd love to get more female, attendees. It did seem like there were a ton of female, attendees in there, but at least in terms of the survey, those are the ones that filled out the surveys. Let's see, satisfied attendees. 46% of attendees said they were very satisfied. 40% said they were satisfied. So that's a total of 86%. So that's really good. And there was only less than 5 that were actually dissatisfied with it. So that's a pretty small percentage. So that's really good. Reasons for attending. The top reasons were the vendors, the free play and arcade areas, and the museum. So those were the top 3 areas to hit. Because our vendor hall's unmatched. Like I said, with any retro game convention out there, you end up with normally a pretty small amount of booths, and a lot of them aren't really gaming related. But at CGF, it's one of the biggest retro marketplaces in the country. So everybody loves that. Let's see here. Next, ticket prices. 23%. So the ticket prices were cheap, because they know that we were one of the cheapest such events in the country. 70% said it's about right. So the fact that the prices are going up a little bit, that'll probably change a little bit next year. But hopefully it'll still be, maybe not as many say it's cheap, but it'll be more saying it's just right. But again, buy early. It is cheaper to buy early for CGF. What do they like the most? Everything. That was a common answer, which is nice. Tournaments, bands, the selection and variety of vendors, the family-oriented chill atmosphere. Let's see, the music, the amount of people there, the community engagement. So those are all things that I saw over and over again in the attendee survey. We had about 500 people fill out the attendee survey. So, a small fraction of the, over 10,000, but still a very good sample. And so a lot of these comments were recurring, everything, tournaments, bands, vendors. What do you like the least about CGF for the attendees? The parking. Yeah, parking, you have to park in their garage, and it was $9. I'll tell you, for next year, it's $10, because like everybody, they're raising prices. So it's going to be $10. Still pretty cheap, and people complained about the walk from the parking garage to the building, which pretty much any convention you go to, you're going to have to walk a lot.
That's through the yard.
I know.
Outside?
I know it's the garage is literally next to the building. But maybe if you're at the far side of the garage and you have to walk through the garage and then around the building to the door, and But when you go to a big event, there's walking involved. There just is. No, but I mean, even that. I mean, just walking around the halls, getting around the building, waiting in line. Like there's lines and there's a wait.
Yeah.
But somebody, I think I have this further down. They mentioned
David, can't you just personally carry every person? Who
I know, we should have like a conveyor belt, like at the airport, where you just stand on it and it just like,
come on,
it just brings you right to the convention, and then like IKEA style, it'll just wind you through every aisle, up and down every aisle, and no, we can't do that. So parking, fees, walking. Let's see. And then, some stuff about the layout, the bands being downstairs or upstairs, tournaments and free play upstairs. Because right now we have the bands up and the tournaments and free play down. Some people were saying we should put the bands back downstairs and put the tournament and free play area upstairs. It's like I said, there's no way to please everybody. So there's going to be a small number that don't like the way we have it set up now. If I change it some other way, there's going to be a small percentage that won't like that either. So, I think right now this kind of works best for most, and that's what we have to go with. Democracy rules. So there's that. Let's see. Some attendees complained about, the Sunday traffic or the Sunday attendance being lower, which Sunday attendance at every event is lower. Every event ever. Every convention and Comic-Con. But I will say our Sunday attendance is better than most. Because there are some conventions where Sundays are dead. Like, there's nobody that comes in. Yeah. And we still had, I think, like 4,000 people on Sunday. Some people don't get 4,000 in the whole week. Most events for retro gaming don't get 4,000 the whole weekend. And we had that many on Sunday. So, yeah. So, not too bad. Let's see. Other complaints. Let's see. Bands not playing on the right days. Like, I like this band, but why are they playing on Sunday? I wish they could play Saturday. Because you bought a one-day,
Yeah.
You can't buy a one-day ticket and see everything. You just can't. It's a 2-day event. You got to come both days. I can't make every band and every panel repeat on both days so that you only have to come one day. You have to come both days if you want everything. Or you choose. You make choices, just like life. Let's see. T-shirt shortages. We've gone over this a lot, and I'm really sorry about the t-shirt shortages. We had no idea about the flood of interest in t-shirts and the shortages of particularly certain sizes of the t-shirts. So again, next year we're going to have t-shirts coming out of our whats. So we will have plenty of t-shirts. And all the people that needed a t-shirt should have already gotten theirs now, or email info@classicgamefest.com and let me know. Let's see. Too much to do. Actually, we had complaints about too much to do and too little to do at CGF, which is kind of funny. Like, oh my gosh, I can't possibly do it all in one day. And some people like, there's so much, I can't do it all in 2 days. And then some people like, there's nothing to do.
I don't know.
I don't know
how you say there's nothing to do.
I don't know how to explain, I don't know how to explain people sometimes. Like, I don't get it. If you come to CGF, like, there are some events that you go to, especially in the retro gaming world, where it's more like a swap meet. You want to go first, you want to go early, you want to see the best stuff each vendor has, and then you leave, and that's all you do, because that's really all there is to do. But CGF isn't like that. It's a community event. It's a bonding experience for an entire weekend, and there are panels, there are costumes, there are music performances, there are special tournaments and events, and there's vendors, and so if you come for just an hour or two, you're going to miss most of that. So you literally have to be there almost all day, both days, to really fully get it all. So attendees, will you come again to CGF? 87% yes. 12% not sure, and only 1% said no. So that's pretty good. Only 1% said no, I'm not going to go back. So 99% of people will be back, or most likely will be back, which is great.
Sorry, I'm just allergic to awesomeness.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if you heard that. Dan just had a sneeze attack over there. Let's see. What to have next year? Like suggestions. YouTube guests. That's always a big thing. I want YouTube guests, blah, blah, blah. I want, this person to be there. More tournaments, more arcades and pinballs, certain just guests and vendors within the industry. More food, better price food, healthy food. I thought that was funny too. There's no healthy food at events. I'm sorry. But yeah, so we are open to suggestions. We have not officially booked anybody yet, guests, bands, whatever. We're working on that now, and we are still taking your suggestions. So if you want to suggest someone for CGF, you can email info at classicgamefest.com. Let us know who you would like to see, who you would like to hear, who you would like to, get their autograph, and vendors you'd like to see, or anything. Suggest anything to us about CGF, and we're taking all those suggestions right now. We can't promise we'll do any of them, but I can promise I will read all of them and consider them and do what we can. Okay, so anyway, great comments all around. Again, hundreds of responses, like literally hundreds of responses. So it's taken me a lot more than I thought. I thought I would just kind of do this in like about a month ago, but there were so many responses, and I wanted to read all of them. So I'm reading all this stuff. It's like an Excel spreadsheet that just goes on, forever, it seems. But I was reading through all the responses, and I really appreciate everyone taking the time to do the surveys. I do read them, I do think about them, I do consider them, and I do make changes and have made changes over the years because of them. So because of you, CGF is better. So thank you for the comments and taking the time. So that's it. And that concludes all the feedback on surveys for CGF. And now let's go to level 4 and the boss battle. And we're back with level 4, the boss battle. And today it's actually the boss battles. I've got 3 battles this week, potentially 4.
It's such a long show.
Okay, I'm going to go through them really quickly, though, because Dan is running out of patience here. This has been a long show. All right. So, every week, every one of us, really. I know you guys do too. Like, we all have battles, right? There's things that don't go your way, things that frustrate you, difficulties in your life. It happens to every person, every week. And the best way to, live a long, happy life is to understand that it happens. It happens to all of us, and accept those things, try and learn and move on and, grow, from them. But yeah, they happen. And this week was just, I've had several. So for me, I'm moving, and so right now we're packing up the house. It's kind of a mess, and that is a battle that just keeps going on. But the long term is eventually I'm going to be someplace new and nice, and everything's going to be all set up, and a lot of our older, crappier stuff is going to be hopefully gone in a garage sale, and we'll just have nicer stuff in a nicer house, and so that'll be nice. But right now it's a mess. It's chaos. It's chaos at our house. So that's boss battle number 1. Number 2. The car inspection. So I have a car, I'm driving an older car, and this is actually my daughter's car that I was taking to get inspected at a, like a car inspection. You have to do your annual inspection on the car. And so I was taking it into a place, and I was really frustrated with them because, I get it, places are short-staffed, right? Every place is short-staffed, every place. I understand. And I understand more than most because I own a business, and we're always trying to hire, and it's hard. But so went in, asked them about doing the inspection. They said, yes, there's just one person in front of you. And I said, okay, great. Then I'll wait over here in the little lobby area and, do them and then do me, and that's fine. So I go wait, and I'm watching, they have a TV on, and so I'm watching the show, and, watch like the second episode of the show. And then it gets to be like almost an hour of waiting. And so then I go back up to the little booth, and I'm like, yeah, I just, I still see my car out there, and like, you said there was just one person in front of me, and so I'm just wondering, where I'm at, on this thing. And so they said, well, we just got the other guy started, and his will take about 20 minutes, and then you're going to be next, just like I said. And I'm like, well, yeah, you said there was one in front of me, and that I guess technically is true. And him taking 20 minutes and then doing me, like, that's fine, that's reasonable. But what you didn't say is it was going to be an hour between the time I got there and the time you started that one that was in front of me. So that was a little important part of the conversation left out. Yeah. And so now, instead of what I thought would be, if one person's in front of you at a car place, you think, okay, about 15, 20 minutes, and then they'll be working on mine. But no, I didn't know it was going to be an hour before you could even start on that person. So I was like, couldn't you have told me like that we're really busy, we're really short-staffed, which he did say after that. He's like, well, we are doing other stuff, and well, we are short-staffed. And I'm like, of course you are. But you could have told me that up front instead of making me wait for an hour and then telling me when I come up and ask, oh yeah, we're just starting on him now. Oh yeah, we're short-staffed. Don't do that to people. That's not cool. So anyway, that was battle number 2. Third battle, dentist battle. Any of you have a dentist battle recently? Oh man. So I went into a new dentist. I didn't like my old dentist. I felt like there were some things that weren't going the way they should go, there. I always have really good teeth, and the past couple of years I've had like one tooth in the back that had a cavity, and before that I never had cavities, and so I got a cavity and I was like, oh, that sucks, I finally got a cavity, but okay. And then like a year or less later had another cavity in the same tooth, and I'm like, well, that's weird. Like, did they just not, was it not really a cavity the first time, or did they fix it but fix it the wrong way or something, and then it fell out or something? I don't know. And then it was again, and so then I went to a new dentist this time, and they looked at that tooth, and the cavity part looked okay, but they said probably because of the fact that it was filled twice, like right kind of in a row, right one after the other, and the second one went really deep and big in it, oh, sorry, just lost my train of thought. But they did the first cavity fill, did the second cavity fill, same tooth, and then they said now that tooth has a crack on the back of it. So I'm like,
you never want a crack on the back.
Yeah, cracks are bad. Crack kills, people. Crack's not good. So, but now I got a cracked tooth, and I'm like, damn it. And so it's like it seems like now I'm gonna have to get that tooth like shaved down to a stump or whatever, and then put a cap or a crown on it.
I hate tooth.
Where they take the tooth and they whittle it down to just a little stick, and then they put a cap.
I have
on
one of those.
A crown. I keep wanting to say cap, but it's a crown.
I'm a
crown.
cap. I have one right.
Nobody's going to be able to see that.
This one right there.
I will, but that's a little weird.
And a little while ago, the glue came undone. I did this like 9 years ago. I had this cap done.
Yeah.
And the glue came off.
They said they last about 10 years.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
The glue came off recently, and I was like, oh, crap. And I had a different dentist at the time.
Yeah.
So I went back to that dentist, and I was like, hey, can y'all re-glue this real quick? And they're like, well, we have a new system, so we have to put you back in the system and set you up with like
a new appointment or something.
A consultation before we have the appointment because it's been so long. And I was like, no. Went to my dentist, and they were like, oh, yeah, that's fine. Just glue it on, put it back. Done. I was like, what is dentists are so weird.
Yeah, so.
I also.
Oh, there's more.
Because it was unglued, I had to, like, keep it, right? But I couldn't leave the open thing, so it was there, but it was coming off constantly. It went down the drain one time.
Aww.
And I had one
You
of
didn't
those.
get it out of the drain and put it back in, did you?
Here's what I did.
That sounds like a yes.
Listen, let me explain myself.
You know how much funk is in your drain?
Do you know how much those crowns cost?
Yeah, but there's funk.
Okay, so I got one of those little like long rubbery sticks with the claw on the end, and you push the thing in. And I went fishing for my tooth. And
what else did you get down there?
When I
you get it like a
got
boot?
it out, I left it.
Bunch of hair?
I left it in an alcohol vinegar solution overnight. Then I put it back in my mouth.
Okay.
Vinegar and alcohol.
I'm sure it totally cleaned it right up.
I lived to tell the story. Mostly.
And Dan, that is why there's no kissing booth for you at CGF. Because nobody wants inside your mouth right now. All right. Okay.
So good.
So, see, I was trying to make this short. Now it's kind of a long segment.
Sorry.
That's okay.
It's topical.
Okay, but so that was my next boss battle. So I'm gonna have to deal with now getting a crown. So that'll, I'm sure, be a boss battle in a couple months or whatever for the whole joys of that process. But anyway, at least I guess it's getting taken care of, and I hope this new dentist is a good one and going to take good care of me, and not break a bunch of other crap while they're in there trying to fix this crap. So. Anyway, and then the other boss battle, which wasn't even on my list, but it's just kind of an additional thing that Dan and I were talking about before the show, is that, my computer that I have in here is really old and, kind of, crappy and stuff. And I need to upgrade, and I just haven't. I'm stubborn like that. I like using stuff until it falls apart, and then I'll upgrade. So it's just part of, I guess, I don't know, my generation, maybe? I don't know. But I'm needing to upgrade the computer, so I'm going to be doing that soon. But we had problems like printing my notes, which is, again, a problem that Dan thinks I shouldn't do. I have to print my notes, but I like printing my notes. I know, but I can't, because then I have to, with my eyes, I'll be, trying to read the comments on the show.
You can increase the size of the text, right?
Yeah, but if I put this much text on here, even enlarged, it would be one word at a time. It'd be like, hello, I am here to say hello. All right.
How'd that?
Anyway, moving on. All right. Did we go on to the next level yet? Anyway, no, we didn't. I guess that's the end. That's the end of the boss battle. Those three plus the technology battle, which is ongoing, and eventually I will get a new computer, and then I'll be probably frustrated on having to set it up and register everything, and all that jazz. So, let's go on to the bonus level, please, pretty please. My favorite part of the show, fan feedback. I get to hear all your comments. Hopefully, they're all wonderful, and we'll go into all your feedback and do that now. And we're back with the bonus level, fan feedback. So we're going to wrap up the show, go through all your comments from the last week or so, and run through all that right now. So lots of good comments, great video, awesome, keep up the great work, happy Friday, long time no see, because we've been back and forth.
We had a show last week.
Yeah, but we did have a show last week, so that's good. Let's see. I got another one from Leptonics. Says they played trombone in school in marching band. So that's cool. We were talking about trumpets and spit valves last week. So apparently on the trombone, there's no spit valve. Or no spit valve issues, he said. Yeah, because there is a spit valve on a trombone, right? Because you're blowing into it. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay, but he had no issues with that. So I guess I just had the slobbery mouth that I had spit valve problems. I don't know.
What instrument did you play?
Trumpet.
Yeah,
do you remember I was talking about that? But I would never drain it, and then when I would, it would be like a freaking,
That's a personal
great
problem.
flood. You need Noah's Ark to survive my spit valve.
That's a you problem.
That's a me problem. Okay. He loved the Forbes article about things you learn from gaming. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. I like that one, too. I love it when we learn stuff together. Loved Showbiz Pizza Place. And Tilt Arcade was the place to go as a kid. So, yeah, I was a big Showbiz fan, too. 'Cause I don't know what it was. They're like Showbiz and Chuck E. Cheese were pretty much the same thing, just different companies, right?
Yeah.
But, video games, kids' parties, and animatronic music.
Something like that.
But somehow I thought Showbiz was kind of for older kids and Chuck E. Cheese was for a little bit younger kids. But they were all for kids, so I don't know. But I did have a couple of birthday parties at Showbiz Pizza Place back in the day, so that was definitely a place I hit up. The Dome. Talking about my dome. Last week we didn't have the ideal lighting, I guess, in the room, and so I had to wear the hat because my head was like powder. It looked like I was going to perform miracles on something on the show because my head was glowing. He said the dome glows as my dome glows as badly as his. So I guess he suffers from similar good hair, like me. Let's see. Also comments. There's a lot of anime in retro gaming internationally. And that would even show up in Hawaii from the soldiers returning from overseas. So there's a lot of good import video games in Hawaii. That would kind of make sense, maybe.
Japanese,
or in California, I guess, when soldiers come back from overseas, like they're stationed in Japan for a couple years, and they come back and have a bunch of Japanese video games. So that's cool. Yeah, that's probably a good point, that we should check out Hawaii or coastal cities in California or the West Coast, and where people come back in from overseas, like near military bases, and probably a lot of imports there. Let's see. Likes the Super Mario Brothers movie trailer. He said it has to be better than the 90s live action version. So I agree. I think it's going to be really good. I think we're going to be surprised. And I think all the comments about Chris Pratt and his voice are going to kind of die away, and people are going to go see it anyway. And once it gets going, they're going to forget it's Chris Pratt and they're just going to enjoy the movie. That's what I hope. Let's see. Got a comment about Halloween costume. Somebody wants to dress like me for Halloween. I have no idea why, but all you need to dress like me, you need a box and a marker, and you need some artistic talent to be able to draw like a very lifelike face on it.
People can contract me to make the box for them.
Yeah, Dan will do it for a small fee. Dan will design some boxes custom for you, and then you get a unique, one-of-a-kind Halloween costume.
$599.99.
$599. Wait, $599.99? Like $599?
$600, yeah.
Whew, man, that's not cheap.
You want to be David, you got to pay the...
I guess you want to be the CEO, you're going to have to pay up.
Pay the man.
Yeah, okay. And also, comment here, Dan and I need to do a 2-player head-to-head challenge for level 3 on the show sometime. So, that's a good idea. We should do that.
What game will we do?
I don't know.
Yeah.
What game? Maybe y'all can suggest a game.
Oh, yeah.
What game do you want to see Dan and me compete in? And bonus question,
Not Pac-Man,
who would win?
because David would kill me.
Yeah. So if it was a game from the 90s, Dan would probably win. If it was a game from the 80s or 70s, I would probably win. That's what we would think, right? So we should play a game from like late 80s.
Or something that's ubiquitous, like Tetris.
Oh, we should do Tetris. Are you good at Tetris?
No.
Okay, we could do Tetris. Yeah. Okay. But we'll do something. So we're open to suggestions for head-to-head.
Game and I'll pick a game. We'll do like 10 minutes of each.
Okay. Yeah. That's fair. Okay. Yeah, we'll do that on some future show. That's a good idea for a level 3. I used to do a lot of stuff in the level 3, the features, and do like interviews and store walkthroughs and stuff. And I haven't done a lot of that in a while. And I've just been really busy. That's why we literally miss shows, because I've been trying to figure out like how can I keep up with, even though the fact this show just takes like a couple hours a week. Like I really don't have a couple hours a week. So I'm trying. I really am trying to keep the show going. But it's hard to have the time. And especially to do what I want to do on the show. Let's see. Also had a comment. This was not a real good comment, but I'm going to tell you about it on the show. So somebody commented on the GameCube trade-in special that it was not honored at one of our stores. So apparently they went to one of our stores and said, "Hey, I saw that really cool Game Overcast show with that sexy CEO of yours talking about all this cool stuff." And I thought, "Hey, I'll go get $100 for my GameCube," and took it into a store, and they wouldn't offer me $100. And I was like, "Well, damn it, that ain't right." So I agreed. That sucks. So I'm sorry, person that did that. I did not write down your name here, but yeah, like I said, I responded to this person and said, "Hey, just go back the next week." The store had some people like just recently leave, and there's new people there and stuff, and so we're training them up and everything, and so now everybody should be on the same page on that front. But yeah, the trade-ins are normally calculated on a store-by-store basis, so sometimes it may vary from store to store. Like some store may need more NESs, and some store may not need more NESs, and so they sometimes pay varying amounts accordingly. But when we're doing the promos, like the trade-in specials, that's across the board. So that's basically I overrule them, and I'm like, you don't get to say that, well, we have too many GameCubes or whatever. Like, you just pay that much. Even if it's your 24th GameCube, you just keep buying it at that amount. So sorry about the trouble there, but hope you give us another chance and bring it back by, and we'll take better care of you next time. Let's see. Yeah, and anything like that, if you ever have an issue at a Game Over store and you're like, man, that really sucked, but I like Game Over, I wish I could talk to someone that could help me with that, you can email info@gameovervideogames.com or send it to me at podcast@gameovervideogames.com. And either way, I'll see the email, I'll get it, and I'll get you in touch with either that store manager or the district manager or somebody that, or myself, whoever can help resolve your problem. If there's ever a case like that where somebody's not following a company policy or something, I want to correct that, and I want to, do what we can to make that up to you. But there's sometimes where it's just like, if it's outside of our policy, like our return policy or something, then I can't really do much for you except say, yeah, sorry, that's the policy. But I always try to help, so always feel free to reach out if you have any concerns about stuff like that in the store's operations. Let's see. Ricky commented on the show structure, because I was asking about like how we change this up. Maybe make it shorter somehow, so it's less of a commitment for me or us to do the show and stuff. And sadly, like the comments we got mostly were like this. They kind of like the show the way it is. Like they like the structure. So he says, I like the structure. He said maybe more clips of interviews, store walkthroughs and stuff, and that you could run that on busy weeks. So if it's too busy to do a show, we could just do an interview or something like that. But to do that, we'd have to have a bunch of like interviews and store walkthroughs kind of like on tap, on file, ready, and then just do that on a busy week on the show. So it still takes a little more prep, but I guess that's kind of what I'm thinking, is that we do, shorter segments and just kind of pile some up and have them ready, and then I just put them out there, just sprinkle them throughout the month. And so if we do miss a certain Friday or something, it's not that big of a deal, because there's still a constant flow of stuff coming out. What do they call that stuff? Content. There's content coming. But you guys know that if you watch this show, it's, I'm sure, not for my great personality or anything, but you do know at least a little bit about me and about Game Over, in that, doing this show, like, I'm not a famous YouTuber. I don't have thousands and thousands or hundreds of millions of followers or whatever. I don't do it for the fame or whatever for that. I just do it for fun and to keep, myself connected to you guys, the customers and employees and fans of Game Over, and give you a little window into my life in running a small business in general, and specifically running the business of Game Over and my side hustle business of Classic Game Fest. So it's all with good intentions, but I am very busy, and it's hard to do sometimes. So I've been trying to find ways to keep the show going in some way, or keep video content flowing in some way, but without making it a burden, time wise. But Ricky likes the structure. Let's see. Larry commented, "What's up, Larry?" He says, "How my dudes doing?" We're doing okay, Larry. It's been a busy week, though, I will say. So Larry is down to come hang out anytime, behind the scenes or whatever. So he likes the show. So we should really try and do some kind of live show. Maybe around Christmas time, we'll do like a live show in the store, and I'll just go like on a Saturday or something, just sit out in the store and just, when it's like crazy busy, and I'll just sit there and just talk to people.
I'm super down for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, do it.
And all my employees will be like running around crazy helping people, and I'll be like, well, you got to get one of them to help you. I'm just here to talk. You want to come talk about video games? But we should do that. We'll do some live chat shows in the store. So yeah, we can do that later. Let's see. Also, Larry had a complaint, which is apparently his wife is in the trailer for CGF, but he's not.
Hold on. What?
So yeah. So he just flat out says, "I thought we were boys. I thought we were buds. I thought we were friends." And so he feels betrayed. He's let down.
I think he is.
I've told him it's all Dan. I literally told him in the comment, like, it's all Dan's fault because Dan does the editing.
I think he is.
Okay, Dan's saying that you are in there, Larry, but we probably just zipped over you just to get to your wife. Oh, he's going to watch the trailer now. Well, we don't have time for you to watch the whole trailer and, like, point him out and
What do you have
stuff.
to do for the next 2 minutes?
Okay, you look quietly while I'm going through the rest of this. Okay. But anyway, so Larry was disappointed at that. But otherwise, he says, keep up the great content. Happy anniversary.
Just tell him his wife's prettier than he is.
Well, his wife is prettier than he is, but I don't want to say that. Okay, sorry.
Love you, Larry.
Yeah, we love you, Larry.
I'm trying to find you.
You're pretty to me, Larry.
I'm sure I put you in here.
All right. But I'm telling you, like, when you go to CGF, if you see Dan walking around with his camera, it's up to you to get in front of his camera and look pretty.
I love it.
Because if you don't, he's not going to put you in the trailer for the next one.
I honestly love it when people jump in front of me and are like, "Woo!" I love it. Please do that.
Yeah, we'll play that up a lot more next time. Maybe even have you like at a booth, at the CGF booth at a certain time or something, and saying, "Hey, you want to come do interviews or be on, potential?
No interviews.
Not even promises, but potential to be in the trailer for the next year's thing." Yeah.
Not doing that again.
All right. So let's see.
If you're in the costume contest, you're almost guaranteed to make it in the video.
That's true. Yeah. Dan always puts all the costume contest people in there, or pretty much all of them. I mean, there's kind of too many now, but he puts a lot of them in there.
A bunch of the best ones.
Yeah. And the kid ones. The kid ones are always the cutest. I love the kid. I could do a kids costume contest every day, I think, for the rest of my life, and I would just be a happy guy. They're just so cool, and they're so excited, and oh man, I love kids. Okay. Anyway, Chris says, congrats on the new home. Yes, moving sucks. Nothing fun about it. And yes, I totally agree with that. So I'm in the sucking phase right now. So I was excited to get the house. Now I'm in the sucking moving phase, and eventually I'll be in the happy enjoying the new house and it's all nice and clean and all this stuff phase. But I'm down here right now. I'm in the sucking phase, and it's not fun. The sucking. Okay, that may have come out wrong. If somebody wanted to, you could pull all kinds of clips from this show and put together a really nasty video, like, of me, probably. Hopefully nobody has that kind of time.
I guess Larry's not in it. I'm sorry.
Okay. After extensive research, Larry, Dan has found that you are not in the video. He thought he put you in, but he probably opted for some cute kid in a costume or your wife instead, and just, he says, sorry.
She was going like this. She was like, yeah, thumbs up. She was doing stuff.
Yeah, So Larry, you gotta raise your game next time. Raise it. You're on an 8. We need you at like an 11 to be in the trailer. Sorry. All right. So let's see. So different format of the show. So anybody that has any other comments about the show, do you want it to be longer? Nobody, right? Hopefully not. But if you want it to be shorter, if you want it to be different, if you want different segments added, subtracted, you want me to do like a 60-second version or a 5-minute version or something where it just has highlights or just focused on one particular area or something, and then those clips you can get onto the like fast reels with YouTube or Instagram or whatever if it's shorter. But right now, because it's longer, so it's normally like an hour to an hour and 10 minutes or so normally per show. And so we can only do it on YouTube because it's too big. Will it go on Twitter or Instagram now? I don't know. In the beginning, they used to have to be really short videos on everything else, social media. But now I guess they might allow that,
not
longer
that
ones.
long.
But they always prefer the short ones, right? You just want the, somebody, falling off a bunch of milk crates, and it takes 5 seconds, and then you just scroll to the next one. And I don't know if I could do the show in that short of increments, but I could probably get like maybe a 5 or 10 minute version of something that's entertaining. So anyway, but send me your ideas to podcast@gameovervideogames.com and let us know what you think. So that's it. That's all I got this week. So thank you so much for your business and support. Thanks for watching this show and spending, an hour a week or so with me and, learning about news and video games and my life and just, being my friend. So thanks. It's nice to have some new friends. So hope everybody has a great week and we will see you next Friday. So game over. Are we recording?
Yep.
Check one, check one, check one. Check one, check two, check one, check two, check two, check three, check three, three, three.
So you just have to check the one.
I have this one.
Check that one. Is it working?
Dankeschön. Huh?
Is it plugged in? Is it good? Is it good to go? Is it
It's
working?
no, it's not plugged in.
Yeah.
Do these things have to be plugged in to work? Hello, hello. Okay.
It's a clown nose.
Yeah, yeah.
What song would Spider-Man sing in karaoke?
Spider-Man karaoke would be
Like swing time music, like
swing time music.
suit riot, spider suit riot.
Yeah, what was that guy like in the 80s that had that song, or the 90s that had the song that was kind of like that? Oh man, I can't think of it now.
You talking about that? Is it Suit Riot?
It was like
Yeah. That was
like one of those kind of 50s swing type songs, but it was a guy from the 80s or 90s. But it was that kind of.
Nope. Fuck. Yeah.
Oh well, but yeah, okay. Anyway, Spidey, go back to your three-way. All right.
Okay, let's start.
The children. Think of the children.
The single.
Turn away, Grogu. Don't you watch them.
Oh my god! Wait, I gotta tell you, my wife yesterday saw a bumper sticker, and it was Grogu, and under it said "the child on board," and she was like,
Yeah.
"Shouldn't this say like on board child there is or something?" It's Yoda, and I had to be like, no, that's not Yoda. That's the child from The Mandalorian. That's why it says the child.
Yeah.
He doesn't talk at all, so there's no language barrier there.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, she's like the least nerdy person you've ever met in your life. I had to actually my wife, and she did not like it.
So the question is, for Star Wars fans, did Yoda talk like that because the entire race of Yoda people, wherever, what race is Yoda? Have they said what? Who knows? But whatever that group is on their planet, is that how they all talk? Or was he just raised kind of like Grogu, by someone of a different background? And so Grogu has every reason to grow up and speak like Mandalorian in normal English, because maybe even very few words, but English, because that's who's raising him. Maybe Yoda was raised by somebody that did talk with the backwards noun, adjective, stuff. Is that how you call it? I don't know. But,
There's
try.
no. I have an answer for you.
Okay.
There's
Yeah.
no canon for this, but the theory is that that English is not Yoda's first language. They have their own language.
Yeah.
Okay. But
like he was raised somewhere else by people that spoke broken English.
He spoke.
So
it's
he
not,
learned
it's not
broken.
broken. It is.
It
if you know, I
it's
mean,
dysfunctional
you speak
English.
Spanish, right?
See.
So if you see something in Spanish, you don't say like, "I'm going to go to the store." You're going to say like, "The store."
I'm going to go there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in Spanish, you're already talking Yoda talk. So he probably learned English in the way that like a Spanish person would say English backwards, right? And he just never corrected it. He just like learned that way. So if Grogu were to grow up learning English from Mandalorian, he probably would speak normally.
Yeah. Because that's what he's learning.
Exactly.
Or he wouldn't know English at all.
That's the theory.
Yeah.
And I'm leaving now.
And that has been our weekly Star Wars Minute.